Hello Silver fans, welcome back to Silver Bull channel. Now I've been watching a lot of other YouTubers and they've been talking about this latest food and safety bill that's been passed by the Senate and soon going to the House. Thankfully a senator in Montana has at least argued that it shouldn't apply to producers earning under $500,000. But I thought I'd do a short video on food. What's the big deal? Food, or what's the big deal? Let's have a look. It's a bit away from precious metals, but I think it's important. When you look at the hierarchy of human needs, and Maslow proposed this, and it's not a bad model for needs. He proposed a whole bunch of needs to have what he called a self-actualized human, but we deal away with that crap, or just say, well, what does a human being need to exist? And at the bottom he had physical needs, such as breathing. You can't last very long without that. After 6 minutes without air, your brain dies. Water, about 3 days for water. Food, I think food you probably normally after about I think the maximum is probably about 60 days without food. And sleep. Normally after a couple days without sleep you start hallucinating and losing your mind. So those are our physical needs. And his whole triangle here is you have your basic needs, which is survival, i.e. breathing, water, food, sleep. Safety needs, and that's more like your housing, a bed to sleep in, places to sit down, relax. Then he goes psychological needs, self-actualization, and peak experience. And I'm not going to get into the top of that stuff. That's probably more your psychological BS, shall we say. But certainly the bottom two, I totally agree with him. The human being needs their basic needs met, and civilization. If you're going to have any civilization, you need some safety needs met as well. So food's very important in that sense. We have two sources for our foods. Basically we have what I call a vegetable source. It's like your grains, your pulses, your tubers, your fruit, so, your potatoes, your corn, your peaches, you name it, all that sort of thing, your sugars, all that makes up your vegetable. And the other source we have is animal, and that's where you get your milk, your eggs, and your meat. Here's a little chicken that we raised from just being a chick. So there's your two sources, what I call vegetable and animal. Here's 3 chickens or 4 chickens I think there are there. And I think it's important to teach children about animals and how to raise animals and look after animals. We ended up having 50 chickens, and they produced quite a lot of eggs. They're free range in the sense that they were outdoors and could walk around, and but they weren't free range in that they could go wherever they wanted over the land. They still were fenced in, but certainly had it better than most chickens do. And the eggs, if you want to know the difference between a free range hen and a battery farm hen, it's in the eggs. When you crack open the yolk of a free range hen, it's very, very orange. Whereas a factory farm hen, it can almost be a pale yellow, almost, and even clear. And it's just a sign that they're not getting the nutrients that they need. Because just like humans have a pyramid of needs, according to Maslow, my argument would be animals have a pyramid of needs. If you want to get the best out of them, if you want the best eggs, the best meat, you don't cram them in and try to factory farm them. And to me that's the greater danger. Alright, the greatest danger we're facing now is food has been taken away from the people and given to the corporations, and with that a lot of power has been taken out of people's hands. There's nothing more satisfying than having your own veggie garden and eating your own food, and it certainly tastes a lot better eating vegetables fresh out of the garden. They just have a whole different flavour to the stuff you buy in the shops. Alright, to show you what I mean, I'm going to have to go to a website. This one's the factory farm map Factoryfarm.org is where you can find it, and thanks to them for this. And they just show how many factory farms there are in the US here. There's your concentration of cattle, and these are extreme density levels. Dairy, your hogs or your pigs. You can see just, really, really huge density there. And then your broilers, those are your meat chickens. They're bred for meat. And once again, you see huge density there. And then your layers, this is your egg farms, and that's even more dense. And how big do some of these factory farms get? Well, and they're only getting bigger if you look at these stats. So, average number of animals per site in the US. So for your average chicken farm in the US now, they've got over 600,000 birds in one site, which is just ridiculous. And that's why they feed them a bunch of antibiotics and other stuff, because it's the only way they can stop them all dying of mass diseases, because they're jammed in ridiculous things. The broilers, your meat chickens, even them, they're up over 150,000. And so they have this huge concentration of numbers because they can make more money off it. But my argument is this huge concentration of numbers leads to unhealthy and unhappy animals, which in turn leads to lower quality food and associated health problems for us, including increasing cancers, and there's all sorts of dramas in America, and my argument would be the lowering of sperm count and all sorts of other things. Not only poor environmental factors for humans, but what they're eating. And so the only way to get away from this corporatization of food is to grow your own. And it's not hard to have a couple of chickens. It's not hard to grow potatoes. One day I even want to try to grow my own wheat and mill my own flour and see what that's like. So set yourself new challenges. So yes, the new legislation they're bringing in has some concerns, but my bigger concern is over this corporatization of food, and it's just ridiculous. What are your thoughts? Comment below, and hope you enjoyed this video.